so first play we're going to look at, 2nd and 2, one of the Patriots' first offensive plays.
What's going on, everyone? Mike Kadlick, Tayler Kyles here for CLNS Media, fresh off the practice field where the Patriots just finished up day 5 of their 2025 training camp in their first in full pads. So we're here to give you 3 observations from the session reminder. We are powered by Prize Picks. Head over there, use code CLNS for $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. So Taylor, we got some good injury news today and some bad injury news today. The first being Ja'Lynn Polk returned to the practice field. He was ramping up last week on the lower field but was not a participant. Today he comes in, shows up in pads, and participates. We'll talk about him, want to hear your thoughts on him, but also the other unfortunate news on the injury front. Christian Gonzalez, Patriots star cornerback, comes up lame after defending Stephon Diggs in an 11-on-11 drill. There's a video out there that was captured from the stands from a fan. He looks like he's grabbing his left hamstring, comes gingerly off the field, doesn't return. Your thoughts on both those guys, the up on Polk and the down on Gonzo, and what it could mean moving forward for the wide receiver room and the cornerback room?
Yeah, the one caveat for Ja'Lynn Polk not being here earlier in the offseason program, for the summer at least, was, you know what, maybe he really is just trying to get in the best shape he can for when the pads come on, because, yeah, we can talk about how his being absent and everything is affecting his roster chances, but there's still a long way to go. And if he ends up showing up in these padded practices, then I think everything before that is kind of going to get washed to a degree. And today he catches the touchdown. Now, albeit it was a hard play action fake, he was wide open, there was nobody around him, very similar to his touchdown against the Bears from last season. But even still, he looked like he was a full participant, was rotating in, mostly with that second group. And like I said, he ended up catching a touchdown. I believe he was actually with the starters at that point. So positive impression from Ja'Lynn Polk's first day. Hard to see what his impact was in the ground game, but I'm going to be checking to that a little bit closer tomorrow, because we know that's an area where he was great in college, fell off last year, want to see him kind of get back to those college roots. And the Christian Gonzalez one was obviously unfortunate. Gave up a crossing route to Stephon Diggs. Good ball from Drake May to complete it, but then he kind of walks off gingerly, very clearly something wrong with his left leg, but he walked off under his own power. Again, there was a very significant limp there, so I don't want to underplay it, but the fact there was no cart, there was nobody kind of helping him, that was at least positive. So, you know, TBD, we still don't know what exactly the injury was.
Yeah, Carlton Davis was out today as well, so they were down both their top corners. We'll talk more about that a little bit on our full episode of Pat's Daily coming to the channel shortly. But on the wide receiver front, another observation from today, 30-year wide receivers, Demario Douglas, Kayshon Boutte, continue to impress, having solid starts to camp. Pop Douglas mentioned from Mike Vrabel today, he was an offseason player of the
offseason award winner.
Offseason award winner for the Patriots, thank you. Had another good day here today in pads, fresh off of last week's star-studded performance when he had that nice play from Drake May. And then Kayshon Boutte continues to rep as the first X, the top X in this wide receiver unit. We spoke to him after practice as well, talking about how he is, he's here for the competition, wants to just continue to build, continue to grow. So more promising stuff from those guys who seem like they're making a real run here for their spots on the roster.
I think it's both guys' best summers in their careers so far. Demario Douglas was an offseason award winner, along with left guard Cole Strange, nose tackle Kairos Tonga, and edge defender Truman Jones. So congratulations to all those guys. But we've seen Demario Douglas has been active every day. Now today he was a bit more quiet because it was a much heavier focus on the run game. He's actually got locked up on run rep by Marcus Jones. But those guys battle every single summer. But I wanted to know from Pop Douglas, where do you feel like you've grown the most in year 3? Because we've been, or at least I've been here all 3 years. We came in together technically as these New England boys, but he said that he thinks he's grown as a leader, and he said that he's much more vocal, said that helping the younger guys actually helps him learn as well. So that's a very cool thing to see from, I feel like Pop has very much been a vibes guy throughout his career. 100%. Nothing wrong with that, but always bringing the energy. Mike Vrabel specifically mentioned the energy he brings, his coachability, said that everyone's got respect for him. So clear, very cool to see Pop take that next step. And then Kayshon Boutte is more consistent than he's ever been. I feel like the past summers it's been, he'll have a highlight catch, but then he'll have a drop that he probably should have made. I can't remember any drops from Kayshon Boutte going back to maybe the spring, but specifically this summer. And he said after beating Christian Gonzalez twice in one-on-ones, once Christian Gonzalez tried to undercut him on an over route, Kayshon Boutte made the catch with Gonzalez contesting, and later an end zone fade, Christian Gonzalez once again at the catch point, but Kayshon Boutte showing strong hands to come down with it. He said, hey, I know I'm a bigger receiver. I'm not the twitchiest guy, so I've got to use that physicality. He said he wants to bring that physicality to the wide receiver position, a la like a Brandon LaFell type, more than necessarily a Nelson Aguilar. So again, just very cool to see those two young guys, where obviously Pop Douglas taken at the end of the draft along with Kayshon Boutte. Now they're really turning into not just starters, but significant role players on this team.
Last but not least, today was the first full day of pads, so we got to talk about the trenches. Will Campbell, the rookie left tackle, gets his first action with full pads and full contact today. Goes up against Keon White a couple times in one-on-ones, and then also matches up against him in 11-on-11s. I would say it was a heavyweight back-and-forth match between both those guys, and really both the offensive line and the defensive line across the board. It didn't look like the O-line was in too far over their heads like it kind of looked like in the past. So promising start so far. But what did you see from the rookie at left tackle, and how do you think his trajectory is going to go moving forward as they get the pads on and as he starts to make more contact with these guys on the defensive line?
Yeah, I mean, it's been a trial by fire for Will Campbell against Keion White going all the way back to the spring.
Yeah.
Like, Keion White has had some moments where that Crone man strength and that explosiveness are very much on display. He did get the better of Will Campbell. I wasn't watching one-on-ones, but I heard from Brian Hines and Evan Lazar. Yeah. It was a rep where he put Campbell on skates with some power and then was able to rip past him, and apparently Campbell fell down later in the drill. But I did think Campbell did much better in team drills. He actually did stand up Keion White on one pass protection rep. And then as a run blocker, I keep saying that Will Campbell, everyone wants to talk about the pass pro, which is significant, but I think he's going to be a plus starter as a run blocker, and he was moving guys. Twice Milton Williams, he moved him off the spot and generated some nice push. The left side, I thought, for all three offensive lines, honestly got good push. It was a nice back and forth, but Will Campbell really did stand out, did a nicer job again with that pass pro rep later against Keion White, and then get movement in the ground game. We're going to see a lot more of that as the season progresses.
Those are our 3 observations from today's training camp practice here in Foxborough. Make sure you keep it here on Patriots Press Pass for all the latest from training camp down here at Gillette Stadium.